Alrighty, welcome back to another fantastic Friday night here at the High Octane Sim Series. We're kind of watching some of these guys finishing up qualifying here as we're taking a look at Julio Villalobos there in the 70 machine. Let's go for a recap. Last week, 217 laps were run at Texas, and it marked a historical day for one driver in particular, Jeremy Richmond in the 98 machine. With good pit strategy and a late green flag run, Richmond won his first ever Friday night series run, outrunning the 89 of Matthew Batby and the 42 of Alan Bledsoe. This is 10-4 Broadcasting, sponsored by Admin Box, coming to you live here in New York. I, Patrick Morrison, will be your producer tonight, and Kynan Jones is taking a few laps around and will give us some points and tips on this wild and curvy track. That track being Watkins Glen, a 2.5-mile track with 9 turns, both left and rights. A lot of races end up being a runaway for some drivers, leading by huge margins, but battles still ensue deep into the field as everyone fights for the season points. Tonight's details, we are looking at 59 laps with 7 sets of tires for lane. 2 stages will be at lap 13 and 26. After that, it will be a shootout to the end. We'd like to give a shout out to the league sponsors of the High Octane Sim Series, Captain Jack's Smokehouse, W Energy Drinks, and of course Admin Box. Alright, Kynan, master of all tracks. We are racing the next-gen cars here. What are some key takeaways that you felt around this track?
One big thing that I found was, especially in the bus stop, is if you got to be aggressive on the curbs, but it's very easy to unsettle the car, so it's going to be a risk on how much curb you do take, just so then if you take too much, you're going to get loose and potentially throw away a lot more time than if you were to just take it easy. So we can expect some sort of issue there, but also just getting the car slowed down and getting back on the throttle is not going to be the easiest with this thing. Stock cars have never been the biggest fans, but because of how the next gens handle it and being a bit more tuned towards road racing, it should make things a bit more easy. But with the new aero package and tire profile, it's still not going to be easy. So it's going to be a big driver's track today.
Okay, so as you're talking about a big driver's track, are there any favorable passing zones out here?
Well, we're going into turn 1, can expect something if you can get a good run through the final couple corners set up going into turn 1, that and going into the bus stop. But if you go into the bus stop, you got to be careful not to take the curb, as I've previously mentioned. Some drivers might be able to make a move going into turn 8, but it's very risky, and you got to make sure that both drivers know how to keep control of their vehicle if you're going to make an overtake there.
Alrighty, and we will keep an eye out for that kind of updates on some of these drivers tonight. Matthew Batby has been super fast all week during practice. He ran a 1 minute and 11 second run, which he did also do here tonight. 1 minute and 11 second run has gone ahead and put him on the pole. Already a second behind him is Brandon Fetterplace, Christopher Miller third, Villalobos fourth, Riley Hoots, team member of his, in the 5th position, Jeremy Richmond, we talked about him, in the 6th, Zach Reedy-Ninas in the 99, and Nick Alford in the 8th. In the 8th position in the 95, Matthew Wilson 9th in the 48, and Alan Bledsoe there in the 42 machine. So a lot of these guys that we saw in the top 3 at Texas, but really, look at the JKR Motorsports there, 6, 7, and 8 there. So really excited to see a lot of those guys bunching together, keeping that thing getting going with that. Yeah, a lot of other teams like JKR Motorsports team have really been pushing hard and are going to be top competition for the Kenny Powers Motorsports team here at Watkins Glen. As we are just wrapping up qualifying, these guys are going to get ready to start staging and get this one underway. Like I said, we are looking at 59 laps here, at least 2 stages. Is 7 sets of tires going to be enough for tonight?
Yeah, I imagine that in the final stage there's going to be 1 green flag pit stop, but as long as we're able to keep it clean, get to lap 13 and 26 for the stage cautions, you're going to take most likely 4 tires there just to keep the car balanced. You're not going to really be able to gain too much time under the stage cautions. Yes, you can risk taking it, but just because of tire wear, you're better off just going with 4 tires under those stage cautions. So I'd say with 7 sets of tires, you'll easily be able to make them last for the entire race. This isn't like a typical oval. You've got to turn left and right, you've got to use a lot more brake, and you've got to do a lot more shifting than you normally would. So On a normal situation, 7 tires might not be enough, but tonight tires should not be much of a factor.
Alrighty, and we'll take a quick peek here at the guys outside of the top 10 here. William Britton there in the 64 machine with Ian Janik there in the 12th. In the 25 machine, Anthony Monroe in the 82. Robert Ballard Jr. in that 32 machine. Looks like he's rocking out that double energy drink car. That's good to see him working that one. 51 of Kelly Thomas. The 116 of Race Control will be up in the booth, so he'll be getting and holding it down here tonight. Looks like James Brosecker here in the 3. Looks like he's working with the Dale Earnhardt car. Jacob Fifield in the 45. Brian Messer in the 54. And we'll have to see if Edward Marshall decides to show up. We did see him in practice, and I do not know. There he is. There we go as he loads in. He might have to be just getting situated because this may be a little bit of a long race here, kind of, as we see some of these guys getting lined up here, really kind of getting, squared away. Because, even if your fastest lap is at that 1 minute and 11 seconds, tire fall off is going to start happening. And, and you're gonna see the times getting slower. So, 10 laps is going to be almost just shy of about, 12 minutes here. So you're going to see it racking up, and not only for us viewers here, but it's going to be so tough on the drivers, kind of, with the amount of endurance between the car holding and you being able to maintain for so long.
Yeah, endurance is going to be a fairly big factor. I wouldn't exactly say I'm the fittest driver for iRacing, but even just doing 2 hours of Xfinity on road courses, I felt exhausted. So, going to be doing that just in this race alone, but different car, but it's going to have its different little kinks that you're going to need to have to figure out. So, it's going to be difficult. Just to note, Matthew Wilson, Jacob Fifield, and James Brosecker have all elected to take EOLs, just wanting to drop to the back and just be a little bit safer.
Yeah, we do see that out of some drivers out there, that they will try to go ahead and sit to the back of the field, kind of let these guys shoot it out, sling off the track a little bit. What you won't see here is cautions. You won't see a whole lot of cautions. Some of the off tracks, as long as they're out of the way and is not a multi-car pileup, that will not signal the yellow flag. So having stage cautions here, to me, increases the tempo of the driving here tonight. If Matthew Batby drives away with this, if Fetter Place can't keep a solid, consistent time up with Matthew Batby here, this could be, just a stretch of the track. And we're looking at these guys 5-6 seconds apart. I know a few of the drivers out here. Christopher Darling. It doesn't look like any of the Max Graphics team made it out here tonight. That would be Christopher Darling, Ben Mashburn, and Martin Plute did not make it out tonight. I think they may be a little nervous about some of the, some of the road course racing. I know Chris Darling's pretty good at it, but I know this is kind of we'll have to see how this goes as they get ready to go. Green Tint Gaming out there, I see you. Christopher Miller, so we'll hope it goes well for him. I believe he ended up in a little bit of a tie-up there at Texas last week, but hopefully he is able to turn that around, and we'll see Matthew Batby here in that 89 machine go ahead and take our first green flag of the day as we get into turn 1. Let's see how these guys handle it here, kind of.
Yeah, Batby was able to get off to a good start, but Christopher Miller just taking it easy into turn 1. William Britton all over the back of Reed Ennis going in, but luckily no contact was made. So far we've able to keep it fairly clean. Reed Ennis taking it very easy going into the S's, but William Britton didn't expect him to be going as easy. Bit of contact, but no real harm done, and the drivers have so far made it up the S's, which has been a big danger spot in the past.
Yeah, as we are seeing them kind of spread apart here. I know they, everyone knows you got to kind of, whoa, man, as it looks like Jeremy Richmond might have just missed that turn there. And he is loose and out. That Salon Swank car is now up and around. I do not see a caution out at this point, but we will have to watch this thing going on here, as it looks like he has broken that rear axle there, kind of.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he was able to get it driving that much, but he might just take the toe, which he is. Real unfortunate, but that's the thing that you have to face when you push it too hard on the opening lap.
Alrighty, so that is going to push it out there for Alfred and Reedy Ninas to hold it up for the JKR Motorsports team, as it looks like Jeremy Richmond is already into the pits trying to get that thing fixed. Man, I wish I had a moderator for YouTube, because some of these bots out there are ridiculous. I agree with the rest of you guys, but I, unfortunately, in the position I am, have no control over that. I'm sorry for all that going on. And if you would like the email of the gentleman who can, I will be happy to give it to you, because I find it as ridiculous as you do. But right now, Matthew Batby up in front, Fetter Place, Christopher Miller there in the 12 machine, Riley Hoots in the 24. Right now, we're taking a look at Nick Alford here, trying to see if he can stay ahead of Villalobos. It looked like he was trying to keep it pretty close there, but doesn't seem to have the bus stop as down as well as this 95 machine here, kind of.
Yeah, Villalobos was very aggressive into the bus stop, but then over that first little curb where you gotta be real aggressive on, just got unsettled, and then that cost him a lot of time throughout the entire rest of that bus stop. And on this sort of length of track, yeah, it may be a small mistake, but you've got to be able to carry as much momentum. So you make a mistake, say at the Nordschleifer, just run wide a little bit and lose a tenth here and there. It's nothing, but you lose a tenth here and there. At Watkins Glen, especially the Cup course, you lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, not just losing time. It looks like Alan Bledsoe there in the 42 machine got a little hot on the outside of the turn number 1 there, gave up the 10th position to Fifield. So Fifield in the 45 moves into the 10th, up to break into the top 10 there. Bledsoe kind of working his way back a little bit. Not much. He's only lost one place since he started this race, but he's still got a little bit, a little bit to go. Now, Kynan, sometimes on the circle tracks that, it's easy to kind of wait your turn, kind of wait to see if people make mistakes. Here, with such a large track and so many different options and race lines you can try, is it a good idea to wait, or, do you run and gun it before people start getting away from you?
It really depends who you're around. If you got a bad start and drop back, you want to get past real quickly, but you got to be careful when going up. If you cause a wreck and then you end up losing more, then that's problematic. But I, in the past, have decided to just go easy and then have the tires for a bit of a longer run, which has then came to be a benefit. So just how you drive the car on this track is going to determine if you go hard or not.
Yeah, really a lot of moving there. With some of these guys getting around. Kind of looks like maybe the Britain and there, but we're looking right here at Fifield in the 45. So far, he's moved up 11 positions up into the 7th, so he is on a roll here, keeping this thing under control and up front. So a lot of moving parts here, Kynan, as we see right there. I mean, Matthew Batby, Fetter Place, Miller stay there. Alfred's moved up to 4th, Villalobos 5th, Reedy Ninas in the 6th. I mean, you see a lot of these guys just, being able to make these moves, getting their way up front. But, it's still, Fetter Place is just about 3.5 seconds off the rear bumper of Matthew Batby, as he is on a tear still, running really fast times. Right now, from what I am seeing here, the fastest time on the track right now is held by this man right here in the 24 machine of Riley Hoots. He ran a 1:12.105. We'll see if he's any faster here as he crosses the line. No, wow, he had a big fall off on that one. That one was a 1:25.5. So yeah, he may have had a little trouble, a little bit of a slip up there, but Riley Hoots right now has the fastest lap on the track.
Riley Hoots is not going to be wanting to stay behind Bledsoe too much right now, so he's going to maybe look about putting it up the inside into the bus stop, but Bledsoe should be aware of it. You can see just Hoots getting in the draft, but having to back up a little bit early, not close enough to be able to really safely think about diving it up the inside, so instead just deciding to take it easy and knows he has the pace, so he's letting it come to him.
Yeah, really great job there by actually Alan Bledsoe there, is kind of taking that race line away from him, not giving him a chance to really, make a pass or, like you said, kind of dive in on the inside there, being able to, get the aim But, you know, you do see Riley Hoots. You kind of see him taking a peek, taking that look, and Alan Bledsoe just closes that door. I just don't know if that is Alan Bledsoe's line at this point, as we are going to continue watching him around the track. Right now, 6 laps in the bag for the High Octane Sim Series, and Kynan, this is already starting to be a little bit of a handful for some of these drivers out here.
Yeah, some drivers are already starting to have some sort of issue. We've seen multiple drivers already have issues in different parts of the track, but Hoot has to be very careful with going on the outside of Monroe, going to be able to carry the momentum and keep it under control. So drivers having issues, but it's a long race, and with those stage cautions, that's going to group the field back together, so it's not all and done yet.
Yeah, really got to be exciting for some of them. If you think of the stage cautions or whatnot, or if there is a caution at all, that may be able to put Jeremy Richmond back on the lead lap. Unfortunately, he has 1 lap down here, so this is going to be quite the killer for him as I'm going to rotate up. Oh, boy. Just as I say that, you see Riley Hoots there breaking loose as we just got ready to move to a different camera angle to one of these other drivers. Man, he is all over the place. I'm wondering if his car is just having a little bit of trouble staying stuck to this track. If he's overheating him there, kind of. Ooh, man. Still having some trouble. We're going to watch him through the S's, and then I want to rotate up there to Alfred and Villalobos that look like they're about 6/10 apart, but right now these guys seem to be the closest ones racing together, giving each other a heck of a job here. 24 makes a good turn. Go ahead.
Looked like in turn 1 got fairly tight, and then that's just pushed him out wide. Lost a bit of time there. Was able to keep it fairly steady through the S's, so now he's just got to get back into a consistent run, and he'll be able to close down Bledsoe again.
Yeah, you do see a lot of these drivers. Some of them kind of clumped up here. Looks like the 25 car looks like he may actually be he shows him a lap down at this point. Yeah, he may be wrecked up or slid off the track or something. Not looking good for him. Jeremy Richmond still on that same lap, but he is out there right now and trying to get, you know, back into contention here. Just for, you know, a slight bus stop mishap there, and was just unable to recover. So we'll see after his great week last week at Texas, see if he can try to turn this around. But we're going to rotate up to one of some of our viewers' favorite, that number 12 car. Let's see what Christopher Miller has to show for us. See if he can run down Fetter Place. We see he's been working on it. These guys have been kind of separated here for the 2-3 and the 4-5 position. You know, kind of, they all seem to be about half a second off of each other, and really, it's hard to find a turn here, Kynan, where, you know, you can pick up some sort of time. I know some people find in the S's, some people find it in turn 1, some people find it in this carousel turn that we see them going through now. You know, it's really hard to say, but in your opinion, you know, really where is the make or break on this track?
For me, personally, I found that just getting back onto the throttle very cleanly and just limiting wheel spin will save you a lot of time. You get a little bit of wheel spin, then you're suddenly losing a lot of time, and when you gotta maximize the best of the car's advantages on the straightaway, and you mess something up slightly, which then compromises that, they'll lose you a bunch of time. But then also just getting on the brakes, you can be aggressive, but if you be too aggressive, you lock up. But then if you're not aggressive enough, then suddenly you're missing the apex, and then you're losing a lot of time there. So it's more so just getting it slowed down and on the exits where you're really going to lose the time.
Yeah, speaking of which, as we were looking at Christopher Miller there, got really hot on those brakes. If you saw it, took a quick little peek at the front of his vehicle, he had those rotors glowing red right there, trying to slow down for that turn 1, which is unfortunately cost him. He has now lost another half a second on Fetter Place, but you do see one little mishap on one turn has now cost him a 1.3 second gap from Brandon Fetter Place there in the 20 machine. So, you know, this is, man, he takes a wide swing out there, which is really interesting to see how some of these guys are able to do that. You know, I don't know if I would make, you know, personally, I'm not the one out there racing. I've given this a good shot, but no 1:11 out of me. But right now, fastest time on the track is Jacob Fifield, who ran the 1:11.9. Not seeing Matthew Batt be running that kind of speed. He's actually a second slower than that. His fastest time is a 1:12.1. So, you know, we're also seeing that some of these drivers, maybe I'm wondering if Matthew Batby here is taking a little bit of a conservative, conservative line. But I can't really say much of that kind, as he is over 5.5 seconds ahead of second place.
Yeah, I'd say Batby has just dialed it back a little bit, deciding to just try and maintain a gap, run the speed that the car behind is running, because if you can do that and you know you're the fastest car, then you can just save your equipment whilst also limiting the chance of making a small mistake. So he knows he's a second quicker when he needs to be, but right now he doesn't need to be. He's got the gap, so he just needs to maintain that gap, and as long as no one can really close that gap, Batby is in control.
Alrighty, and it looks like we already have our first car out of the race here tonight. Looks like Anthony Monroe in the 82 machine may have bent it. And I think he is out of the race from what it's showing to me. I'm not sure 100%, but yes, it is showing him as out right now. So he may have bent that car, and that is it. Right now, Jeremy Richmond doing everything he can to stay out in front of Batby before going another lap down here. He's going to have to kind of pick up the pace here. He has been running a 113. Matthew Batby, you know, is running about another 0.8 of a second faster than that. So, boy, really got into that bus stop kind of crappy there. And just as I say that, it looks like Batby goes ahead, works his way around, and it looks like Richmond might be another lap down there, kind of.
Yeah, that's not going to be what Richmond is going to want to go lap down, especially this close to the stage caution on lap 11 right now. So, with the stage caution being on lap 13, so close, but means he's going to not really be able to get back onto the lead lap unless race control decides to wave all the lap cars around, which some leagues will do, just especially with road courses, to try have it more competitive. But then another possibility is on one of these restarts we get a massive pile up and then they'll give an extra caution. So it isn't impossible that Richmond will get back onto the lead lap, but now it's a lot more unlikely.
Yeah, and it's really going to be a difficult one here, as we are, I believe, coming up with one lap to go. We'll have to see if they run lap 13 or throw the caution out on lap 13 and let some of these drivers kind of get to the stages here. Green Tint Gaming, why the road course stages? If unsure, High Octane Sim Series wishes to run that. If it were me, right now, if I'm Fetter Place and I'm now 7 seconds off the back bumper of Batby, this gives me a chance to put a new set of tires on and try him one more time and see if I can, if I can get another shot at this, at the lead, because right now it's starting to become a hassle. Now, let's rotate up here. It looks like Christopher Miller might be under fire by Villalobos there. I know we got a couple people out there in the chat rooting for him as well, but we'll have to see if he can stay alive. Curel Racing, I believe, is out there rooting for him. Oh, man. And we are under caution. That will be the stage break. So really a lot of things to take away here, kind of how these guys can, get back on track. We'll get through our top 10 there. Matthew Batby taking away the stage win here so far. Brandon Fetter placed second. Christopher Miller third. Julio Villalobos fourth. Jacob Fifield, big mover right now in that 45 machine there. Really, he's been scooting right now, up 13 positions, fastest lap on the track. Nick Alford dropped back to the 6th position with Zachary D. Nenis of the JKR Motorsports team in 6th and 7th. Riley Hoots in the 8th position, Alan Bledsoe in the 9th, and Kelly Thomas in the 51 machine has actually worked up 5 positions and into the top 10. So great to see that 51 Exxon machine working the way up to the front there, Kynan. But this is going to be kind of tricky here on some of this, with the stage breaks here and things like that, giving these guys a chance to kind of clump back up. I mean, if you look at Fetter Place here, this is now another shot. But if you're in Jeremy Richmond's position, you're only 2 laps down. I mean, do you have to stay out to try to gain one of these laps back and then hope for the second stage, and then maybe again?
I mean, personally, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Richmond will be able to get back onto the lead lap, but now it's a lot more unlikely. I mean, personally, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Richmond will be able to get back onto the lead lap, but now it's a lot more unlikely. I mean, personally, Well, we already know that the field should come in to take their pit stop and then fresh their tires. So Richmond may decide to just stay out. We will find out in a moment. Looks like he is going to stay out, get the wave around, and then maybe come pit once he goes back around and then get his tires. Then that will then move him up a lap. So that's one possibility, and then try get the advantage for the stage caution next up. But it's going to be interesting for other drivers in pit lane right now, if any decide to take right tires only, try gain track position, or even take left tires only. I've taken left tires only on this course in Xfinity. It did end up working out surprisingly well, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. So it is possible, but it's probably better safe just to take 4 tires right now.
Yeah, especially with 7 sets, it does kind of open up that room for you out there to make a different call. Yeah, it may be so early in this race. If anything comes of that, Jeremy Richmond should get the wave round, which will start him back in the 17th position. 1 lap down. But yeah, we'll have to take a peek on him and see how this goes. I mean, this is having everybody be able to pit, this definitely changes the strategy. If you think, you've already, I wouldn't say given up on the race and say Matthew Batby's kind of won this thing. But, right now you're racing for points. Not everybody's a big fan of these road courses here. I know some of the drivers here decide to go ahead and opt out of this one to keep from any sort of racing incidents or anything like that. But it will cost your team for not showing up dearly, especially in the team's points race. I believe Haas will probably announce later on what those winnings will be toward the end of the season. But Kynan, right now, I mean, if I was in Jeremy Richmond's shoes, I went ahead and stayed out here. I think actually Jeremy Richmond's in pit right now, which he's got to be quick. He's got to get out of there. All right. But, he's able to sling on an extra 4 sets of tires, get back out there, start in the 17th position. Seeing that we're probably going to go under green at lap, let's say, 16 is when we'll probably be back out there. 15 or 16 we'll be looking at. He's going to have a shorter run because our next stage ends at 26. I don't know, man. This is going to be kind of difficult to see if that 98 machine can get back on the lead lap.
Right now, Richmond is just going to need to take care of his car. He's already burnt up his fast repair from having to take the tow and then use it as soon as the car arrived back in the pit lane from his little lap 1 escapades in the bus stop, which was real unfortunate, but right now he just needs to take it easy and hope that he's in the right position and not go another lap down to then get back onto the lead lap for the final little stint.
Yeah, looking to see how many of these Broken Axle Motorsports teammates we have out there. Villalobos in the 78 machine running in 3rd. And it looks like Robert Ballard Jr. in the 32 is running back there in the 13th position. So we'll keep an eye out for those guys out here. Where that Broken Axle Motorsports team can get to, as we see Jeremy Richmond trying to really hustle up, get caught back up to the pack. So he had to make a quick lap there, but we are only getting to the bus stop, unfortunately. These pit laps are about 2 minutes long, so it takes a little while for these guys to get around here and get back up. But it kind of gets you to, I don't know, get the tires warmed up a little bit, get feeling up, feeling the track out. But we'll have to see how this plays out here. Kind of, we'll probably have quick math, maybe 11 laps or so. And then we'll be back under for another stage caution.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and drivers are going to have to watch how their tire wear was last little run in stage 1, see where they can maybe improve, where they need to focus on, and just try to clean up little mistakes. And if you are better placed, maybe try be a bit more aggressive early on to then get past Bat B early in the race. But pace car pulls back in. It's now the wait for the green flag to come out. Green flag's back out and we're back under racing.
Right, Matthew Batby taking that great launch there as he gets ready to dive into one. Let's get a good camera angle of this right here. Let's see if we can hold them off as we get a bunch of guys bunching up there in the back. Let's see, back there at the 42 of Alan Bledsoe. He got definitely jammed there as he's now having to make his moves around, try to keep there as some of these guys are getting single file. We are going to kind of skip around a little bit here. Fetter Place seeing if he can make another shot at this. He's going to really have only one chance to catch Batby, and he's got to make this bus stop to really count.
Better Place didn't get a good run through the S's, and that compromised him throughout the entire straightaway. Fifield looking to the outside of Villalobos, going to go easy, just taking it easy, trying to then switch back underneath to then position himself on the outside going into turn 8. Isn't going to get good enough run, so Villalobos is going to have time to move to the outside, but Fifield is going to look to the inside, but instead taking it easy.
Yeah, it looks like we did have a spin out during the bus stop area there. I think Riley Hoots might have been in that. I'm unsure. Maybe I am incorrect on that. Probably the 99. Looks like Reedy Nenes has dropped back there to the 6th. Good Lord, where did he end up? Yeah, it looks like Reedy Nenes ended up back there in the 16th position. So really, he's kind of having to dial it back there. Boy, you see a couple of those guys locking up those tires, trying to get in there. Boy, there's a bunch up there in that turn right there, man. Holy cow. So yeah, some of these guys trying to get there. Ballard Jr. trying to stay there, still maintaining in that 13th position. But oof, getting a little work there by that 48 machine, it looks like, of Matthew Wilson there. Oof. Ooh, a little bit of moves there during the bus stop. Let's see if Ballard Jr. goes ahead and decides to dial in behind or switch him up for the carousel. And he's going to go ahead and sit back. But I am actually going to shove us toward who spun out on that bus stop area as these guys stay underway and keep going on the rest of the track. Let's see kind of what happened here getting going in that bus stop area. Alrighty, and I'm going to bring us to a quick replay here. Let's take a look at Reedy Nenes there in the 99 as he comes up through this bus stop, and then we'll get you guys back live. I just want to see what exactly happened to him. Oh, boy, a little bit of the Jeremy Richmond deal there. Caught Riley Hoots like I was thinking. Man. And that's going to cost him a bit there. Let's take a look at Riley Hoots real quick and see how he survived through that spin and didn't collect the rest of these drivers here real quick, because I don't want us missing any of this live stuff we got going on here. Slide through. Let's watch Hoots. Oh, man, and Kelly Thomas being able to stay out of the way of that one. Able to line it back up, back on the pavement, back under. So, awesome. Awesome job. Really stinks for that 99 car. But, you know, we are going to have to keep up with some of our drivers there. Riley Hoots in the 11th position. Looks like Reedy Nenes up in the 14th, so he's able to work his way back up. Past Messer. Oh, man, it looks like the 16 car just went off track of Edward Marshall. So he's going to lose a few spots on that turn, unfortunately, but he's going to have to slow it down a little bit and maybe let those tires cool down. I know a couple of other drivers up here. Let's see, Brosecker there in the 3, getting a little pressure there by Alan Bledsoe there for a little bit, but not just Bledsoe. Bledsoe also has Riley Hoots hot on his tail there in the 24 machine, kind of getting worked up there on that turn 1. But as we work our way through the S's here, these guys are starting to kind of take it easy and kind of picking their spots to attack.
Yeah, Bledsoe just took it a lot more easy, just almost letting Hoots by, knowing that wasn't his battle. So Hoots would have definitely appreciated that, and now is on the back of Brosecker. Brosecker moving to the outside, just letting Hoots take the inside. So bit of teamwork going on there, and now that means Hoots does now have a bit of clean air to go chase the 64 of William Britton.
Yes, and another one of those Kenny Powers Motorsports vehicles working their way up front very, very quickly. But definitely got to keep in mind what to do, keeping this thing underway. I mean, we saw a couple spinouts here, And that was not a caution actually going through that bus stop, which was really surprising. Normally, if you see a multi-car pileup, let's say we see Riley Hoots sling off a turn 1 here, there won't be a caution, but I figured at least 2 of those that may have been a little bit of trouble there. But we do have a request out there. Let's take a look at Villalobos here. Let's see how he's doing in the 78. He's able to stay away from Fifield. He's got about a 1.5-second gap on him. So Curel Racing, he may have had a little bit of a battle there. I saw he was messing around with Fifield, but was able to get a breakaway. I believe Fifield got a little loose in one of those turns and did fall off. So Villalobos has got a nice, comfortable, about 1.1 second lead off that 45 machine and is staying out front. So really, his Chevrolet doing a fantastic job here tonight at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, real good drive by Villalobos, and Fifield currently 3rd and 4th. So especially for Fifield, he took that EOL at the start of the race and has managed to work his way up into 4th position and does have the pace, but Batby has decided to turn it up a level this stage. It has gone and posted the fastest lap with a 1:11.638 so far. Only time will tell if he or any other drivers will go and beat that time. So yeah, things may be calming down a little bit now, but once we start approaching the end, that's when things are going to start heating up again.
Yeah, really, it is a fast time. Batby must be tuning into our broadcast here because, yes, he has turned up the heat and really setting the pace here for tonight. Already a 4.5-second lead off Fetter Place. Let's see if we can find a couple of guys who may be getting it. It looks like Fifield is starting to try to reel in Villalobos again, only about 0.5 second off that rear bumper, but picking up pace very, very quickly in that 45 machine. 14 positions up from where he started, but he is in 4th at this point and is looking for a podium position. It's Villalobos. Holy cow, gets super loose diving into that turn. Wow, as he's got to be careful on his entry here, getting back underway as Fifield breaks into the top 3. So he is now sitting 3rd place. Villalobos has dialed it back to 4th, and he's got to be careful as we saw Miller in the exact same turn last lap ended up sliding off the track there. So the 78 and the 12 machine there, really having a bit of a time there in turn 8. So having a hard time here, kind of.
Villalobos on that previous time when he went off, just trying to open up the corner as much as he can, dipping the rear right on to the grass, under braking, and then that's just turned it towards the inside wall. Luckily was able to catch it, but had to lock up the tires for quite a distance, which would have put a lot of heat through them. And because of how the iRacing tire model is, once you get heat into the tires, that's when they really start to wear. So it's not the best tire model out there, but you gotta take care of your tires and not overheat them. So putting that amount of energy through them just then is not going to help the rest of this run.
Yeah, really, we're starting to see a little bit of a fade up there on that turn, as well as we're still watching Villalobos here to see if he's kind of fighting this car around, if he's overheated these tires already. Fortunately, we'll have another break here in about 3 more laps, so he's got to keep chugging and stay in front of Christopher Miller there in the 12 machine. But let's see if we can find a couple of guys who are battling it out right now. As I said before, we will see other battles ensuing farther in the field. Looks like William Britton here in the 64 going to try to put some moves up here on Jeremy Richmond. Jeremy Richmond is still a lap down, but regardless, still a race out there for him in the Salon Swank car. But really, man, look, let's see if Britton can kind of get around him there. Bledsoe was only 26 seconds. So think of it this way. I mean, you were, Alan Bledsoe here in the 8th position, William Britton there in the 9th position, and you guys are over 25 seconds off pace. So that is, it just goes to show you how these road courses, really how to be able to place. Ooh, man, as William Britton gets a little loose there. As I was saying, it just goes to show how you got to place in some of these turns. Is that you see a little fumble like that going through the bus stop there has now cost him another second, and now William Britton is now 29 seconds off. So I know some people out there are thinking, and maybe, out there, oh boy, man, he's having a hard time in that 64 machine, kind of getting a race line. And I just don't know if Matthew Wilson's kind of putting the pressure on him, as Jeremy Richmond is around again in the final turn of the lap, and he's not going to be happy about that. But he's got to get that thing back on the track, and let's see what we can do. But it looks like we have a recommendation out there. Let's see. He is saying a shot for second place. Let's see if Fetter Place has got anything for Fifield there. Up here, it's Fifield 8.5 seconds off the pace, but he is within a second of Fetter Place. So we'll see if that 45 machine can keep up where they're going. Let's see. Oh, man, Green Tent Gaming, talk to me, man. You say there's wrecking out there. Where is it happening? Go ahead and give me the deal, and we'll see if we can get a 10-4 replay going on that and take a look and see what exactly is going on. Fifield within a second there, trying to catch up to Fetter Place. So we'll have to see. Do keep an eye up on that ticker that we have in the left. I even changed that for you guys, that if these guys are starting to get pretty close and rubbing each other, that we can try to catch. As you see Britton and Brosecker there in 10th and 11th, we may rotate back to them just for a little bit to see if any of these guys can, if they are getting any closer. Let's take a look at Brosecker real quick. Let's see how he's doing here as he's crossing the line. So we were just watching Fetter Place and Fifield getting right into the bus stop, and we got these guys entering turn one, kind of.
Yeah, and Fifield was able to gain a lot of time on Fetter Place into the bus stop, but is there going to be enough time on lap 25? Stage caution is lap 26, so Fifield really throwing everything on the line right now, but might not be able to get it done. Looking inside on turn 8, nearly making contact with the 20th Fetter Place. A lot of hard racing, but not going to be enough time as we are now back under yellow for the stage 2 break.
Oh, man. Yeah, just didn't have enough there for Fetter Place, as Fifield was thinking he might have had that thing, but just was not able to keep it collected and stay up front. But, man, really difficult there as they were getting around. You saw Fifield dive into that turn, letting the front end kind of drift on him. But this is going to reset the field again. I mean, I would probably assume these guys are going to take 4 tires, because from here on out, there are no stage cautions. We're going all the way to lap 59. So I know some of you guys out there, it may be time to stand up, stretch your legs. Some of these drivers can't, they may be able to, they're tucked in there pretty tight, but us here on the outside, in the booth, in your chair, watching us on your TV, or in the palm of your hand, now would be a good time to give a good little stretch, because now is the hard part. These guys are probably going to be looking at another solid 35 to 40 minutes of straight racing here, and really it's going to be a battle here, kind of. I am interested to see who can make what moves. As we are already looking at Fifield, he has moved up 15 positions since he started this race, and I'm really interested to see, if he just missed qualifying, if he purposely took the EOL, or end of line penalty, and just kind of sit in the back. As why would he not qualify as fast as he's running right now?
Could be a fact that just a lot more in tune with the car in the race, or maybe made a mistake in qualifying, which then made him fall to the back, and he didn't want to be there, so he figured may as well just take the EOL. So either way, whatever was the case, he's been able to claw his way back up to the 3rd place. Be interesting to see if maybe he pulls any sort of pit strategy just to maybe change things up, try to jump Fetter Place on the pit lane by itself, but something tells me with his pace right now, should be able to get past Fetter Place fairly easily. The only other driver in the 11s being Batby, so he's going to need to get past soon if he wants any shot of really contending for this win.
Yeah, I will give a little shout out there. It looks like Jeremy Richmond has gone ahead and decided to stay out to see if he can collect one of his laps back, along, I believe, with the number 51 of Kelly Thomas, has gone ahead and stayed out. And that way they can go ahead and everybody's back on the lead laps, except a couple of cars here. I believe Ian Janik in the 25 and Anthony Monroe in the 82 have checked out for tonight. So some of these guys there you see at the bottom of our ticker there have gone ahead and checked out for the night, and may have just gone ahead and packed it up and aiming for next week's race. And I will get that for you in just a second. I can't remember where exactly we were. If I'm not mistaken, we are at Homestead. Yes, we are. We are Homestead next time around, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pop this up for you guys. Man, look at that. Garbage. Let's see here. There's something a little better. All right, so next we're looking at Homestead on August 5th. So 173 laps there, and you'll see kind of the stages we have, and the Nashville Super Speedway after that. I'm excited about Nashville. I've raced at Homestead there, and it's kind of garbage for me. I am no good at that one. It's just too flat for me. I can't seem to get a good race line, but as we see a lot of these guys here, they are having a heck of a time themselves getting a good race line. Except Matthew Batby at this point. He's running a heck of a time here tonight and really staying on the move.
Yeah, Batby has been very fast all night. Practice, qualifying, race, doesn't matter. He's been on pace, but under the pit stops, under the stage, Fifield deciding to not take any tires and jump Batby and better place, and is now going to get the race restart pole position. So that's going to mix things up, and Batby isn't going to be used to being behind a car this race. So something you're going to be interesting seeing just how he decides to manage it, and going to be interesting to see how Fifield tires hold up if he decides to then take 4 tires later on in the run, or what happens. Strategy is going to now depict this race unless we get a caution towards the end.
Wow, Fifield not taking tires. That's very interesting of that 45 car. I can't say I would agree with that here, Kynan. I mean, we have a long way to go to get to the end of this one, and with as fast as Batby's getting, I mean, unless he is thinking some sort of strategy here, and the strategy being, hear me out, the strategy being he's taking this inside line into turn 1, which is going to push Batby back into the field a little bit. He's going to have to hold him off through the S turns, and then after that, the key is trying to hold that 89 machine off. I mean, yeah, Batby does have a fast time, and only a 1/10 of a second slower is Jacob Fifield. So these are the 2 fastest guys on the track. But I'm curious, I would be nervous to say if Fifield didn't take any tires, what this is going to do for his lap times.
Yeah, it's definitely going to throw a spanner in the works, but he's going to now have that information on what the tires are going to be for a longer run, which is going to come in to a benefit for the final pit stop when you do decide to pit. If you take tires, and if so, how many do you take? So it's going to be very interesting, but what it also will mean is when Batby goes to make his pit stop, depending on how Fifield speed is for this run, he might not take any tires just because he knows that, hey, Fifield was quick on that restart after that 10-lap stint. I don't need to take tires, so gonna be interesting. So viewers at home, don't click off yet, because now it's gonna be getting real interesting.
Yeah, now a couple of, but Batby also has to think. He's got a couple other fast drivers. Now, if they are getting jammed or just getting a bad restart, they are going to have to kind of keep an eye out for one of those drivers out there, Villalobos. Somebody out there saying he's a NASCAR MX driver. So, I'm assuming he's going to give this thing a shot. But really, this restart is based on Fifield here. So let's see how he does as he gets ready to launch, try to see if he can take it away from... Oh, man. As I get ready to say that, Batby gets a great start with him. So turn 1 is going to be the mark for him if that 89 machine can hold that outside line.
Or better place loose. Yeah.
Oh, and Batby's around. And his car is broken. That right front is snapped off. That 89 machine is coming apart. And we are under caution. That is it. Yes, they are under caution now. That 89 machine is broken. Holy cow. He just was not able to hold that S-turn, and I think it was just a set of cold tires for him. Has slid him off the track and caught one of those walls. Ooh. Holy cow, Kynan, and so much stuff going on there as we're going to rev up this 10-4 replay for you. And let's take a look at Batby here and kind of see what happened. I mean, we all saw it. I kept him in the screen, but it just, absolutely let go on that driver to see what happened. Let's get to that Michelin chopper view here and see what happened for our first unscheduled caution of the day. 89 machine up in the front. Let's go. Boom.
Just looked like over the curbs, it just bottomed out, which then snapped it sideways. Real unfortunate, probably first time running out there, and nothing you can really do when it's going to snap that quickly. But also another driver that had issues on that opening couple corners was Fetter Place.
Yes, and I am getting back to Fetter Place as we speak. Right now, let's go ahead and see what happened to Fetter Place here, because I believe the 48 machine behind him also got crazy loose. Oh, man. As he's around, oh, man, and that car just barely missed him.
Very lucky that no other cars managed to get involved in that, but the two drivers that had been first and second throughout this entire race both had issues and are going to need to take a fast repair.
Wow, yeah, and that is really unfortunate for a lot of these drivers out here who have been running up in the front, but now no longer. Really, we're getting into a lot of trouble here, kind of. It's interesting to see in this final section of where these guys go. Let's see. I want to take a ride with one of my kids' favorite drivers here. And they would like to take a ride along with Zach Reedy Nenis here. Let's try to take a look as they get through turn 1 here, and kind of how close he misses Fetter Place. As we see Fetter Place kind of sliding out of control right here after turn 1 and rides right, oh man, up the track as he was taking it 3 wide there. I believe with Brosecker on the outside. Man, that was close.
That's far too close for Reedy Nenis. Might need a pit just for a change of underwear, but either way, he was able to get that luck that he needed and was able to not pick up any extra damage. So real lucky. Could have been a lot worse. We could have piled in the entire field, but luckily Fetter Place and Batby were able to recover the car and was able to keep it to single car spins.
Yeah, now I do want us to take a peek here real quick. Let's look at Fifield and Batby, and I think Fifield got a piece of Batby when he got loose here. Clip, boom. Yeah, it looks like Villalobos may have not hit the back of that 45, but good job by Batby. Look at him trying to hold off so the 45 can squeak by and then getting out of the way. Great job there by Batby. Really unfortunate for him, but to still handle that car like a pro, getting it out of the way as his car has a lot of massive, massive damage here. But we're going to take a look and kind of see where Batby has ended up after that. Let's go ahead and get us back live here. All right, looks like Batby, not too bad. He's only back here in the 9th position. So I think a few of these other guys, Fetter Place has pit, Miller has pit, Britton has pit. It looks like Villalobos in the 78 machine is still in pit road by what my ticker's saying as he's working his way out. And Kelly Thomas in the 51 is still on the way out.
Fifield. So the people that we thought were going to be up there, all out and have had to take to pit road, but luckily have been able to get back out on track. So somehow Nick Alford has been able to elevate himself up into the lead for this restart, followed by Riley Hoot and Alan Bledsoe in third.
Yeah, and I believe let's see, Green Tint Gaming also agrees with you that was a code brown for the 78 machine. I like that. As these guys are going to get back underway here in a little bit as we're getting ready to start stacking up the race. We are at the halfway point for some of these drivers out here and us as well up here in the booth. But look at that. JKR Motorsports has one of their drivers up in the lead. Nick Alford has gone ahead and taken the lead. I'm interested to see how long Alford can hold on to this lead as fast as we saw Riley Hoots getting off the line and up front. He is... He is getting, really worked up. Riley Hoot's getting very fast into the turns and things like that, but he seems to overheat his tires sometimes. But as long as Riley Hoots can get that fresh air, he'll have a shot at this run here. But Curel Racing, what is code brown? I'm going to let you look that one up. I don't know if I'm going to say that on air, but let's just say he panicked and something had to give. But right now, Nick Alford up in the lead, Riley Hoots in second, Alan Bledsoe third, Edward Marshall fourth, Matthew Wilson fifth, Zach Reedy-Nenes after a spin out in the bus stop into the sixth position, James Brosecker being kind of quiet here tonight, and in the seventh position in the number 3 machine. Let's see, we got Robert Ballard Jr. in the W car for 32 in 8th, William Britton, 64 machine in 9th, and Villalobos there maybe after he got some of that car worked on, rounding out our top 10 so far. So if you are a Villalobos fan, he has a lot of work to do. He's got 9 other drivers in front of him, and I'm sure there are about 4 or 5 more even behind him that are going to be looking to push through this field. I'm kind of thinking what we're going to see here is Batby is going to force his will, and he is going to push his way, to the front. Now, I believe you and I kind of saw this at Rockingham with Fetter Place. I think it was just a set of fresh new tires, and then kind of ended up unfortunate in that situation. But I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of coming back. You're going to see Batby fighting his way up front because you're the fastest car, but now you're hanging back here in the 13th position. Still a bit more racing to go, still a bit more, kind of getting this lined up. But, these guys are, you got to be thinking he's antsy. He's got to get back up front and out of all this dirty air.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit bad off when he was starting second, not first, but now he's going to be starting all the way back here. He's got to be careful, especially on this restart. Going to have all these cars in front that he's now got to work his way through. They're going to be braking earlier than what he's going to be used to, so it's just going to be about getting through the field cleanly and getting through it quickly, though. So it's going to be very interesting, especially with Fifield right there up next to him. They're going to be wanting to fight it out and get up to the front, but they got to be careful not to wreck each other at the same time.
Yep, a lot of these drivers having some slippery times out here tonight. Edward Marshall up 16 positions from where he started. But right now, Nick Alford getting a great start. Let's see if he can hold off Riley Hoots, or if we have another Kenny Powers Motorsports tumble up here in the beginning. Looks like we got a couple cars 3-4 wide there in the back, but we're going to stay up here with Alford, seeing if he can hold off Riley Hoots, who's been super fast, but it looks like we are back under caution as there may have been a tumble up there in the back there, Kynan.
54, 20, and 99, 32, all involved.
Yeah, I see Reedy-Nenes back there in the 99 machine. May have gotten kind of tangled up there, and it looks like that may have been where it started, but we are all going to take a look at that. Let's see what brought a second caution out for this. Let's see if I can kind of point him out. We see the black and lime green car there on the inside coming up for turn 1. Reedy-Nenes there on the outside, and we're going to kind of blow this back to about half speed here and kind of see what happened. I think looks, whoa, 32 kind of clipped
on the brakes,
back end.
And then picks up the throttle, trying to save some speed, but then just drift out wide. Then a bit of netcode came together, and then Better Place having no time to react, and then the 54 trying to go down low to avoid, but just wasn't able to and just ran out of space.
Yeah, and that seems to be that's kind of tough. I believe Robert Ballard Jr. of that 32. That was not a good one there. Not at all. Not quite sure if his right front tire kind of locked up on him as he got into this turn, of this 32 machine. I'm going to kind of take a peek at him and kind of slow it down on his car and see what exactly happened here for that 32 machine in this W Energy car. And let's see what exactly happened. We see him sliding.
From my perspective, it looks like he came in a little bit hotter than he expected, so he's probably applied a bit more brake than what he would have wanted, which then has locked the rears, which then has spun him down, then applied the brake, which has locked it up, which has then settled the car again, but then he's picked up the throttle, which has then washed him out, and then a bit of netcode. Then got...
Yeah, as you were saying, netcode, look at that. Right here, Kynan. As you were saying, netcode right there. Why is it showing him sliding there when he hasn't made contact yet? Right there. It's already showing Reedy-Nenes spinning out. He could have had a chance, but Looks like iRacing's gone ahead and taken that gamble and said, you know what, go ahead and spin him out. But look at Matthew Batby taking the wide swing there on the outside to avoid a lot of that there. But, man, that is going to cost some of these drivers here. JKR Motorsports, Jeremy Richmond has gone ahead and parked it for the night in that 98 machine. We kind of saw him spin out a few times there, and it kind of ended up in some trouble about what to get done for this. But it looks like some of these guys are going to go ahead and get this back underway. Looks like Robert Ballard Jr. is still trying to get caught back up. Let's see if some of these guys are getting back underway. Let's see, Matthew Batby here in the 11th position right now is what it's showing. 10 positions down in that Chevy machine. So he's got a lot of catching up to do to stay out front. But out front right now, Nick Alford, Riley Hoots, Alan Bledsoe. So nice to see Bledsoe back up here in a podium position. He was pretty excited last week when we talked to him, Kynan, about him actually being able to survive Texas and come out with a third-place finish there, especially with a little bit of tumble they had, I believe, with Villalobos and don't take my word on it, I don't remember the other driver that kind of got into the back. It looked like those two may have connected at the same real estate point, but regardless, it looks like Bledsoe back up in the front in that ATD machine. So interesting to see here what these guys have going on. I would assume we probably have one more pace lap here from the pace truck here at Watkins Glen, and then we'll be back underway. We're going to cut away for a quick commercial, and we will be right back. Alrighty, we are back here live at Watkins Glen in New York. Really a hot day on the track here at Watkins Glen. We are 117 degree track temperature, 84 degrees in the air, so about as realistic as it can possibly get. But hot track temperatures for this track, Kynan. Really, is it something you want, especially with this track being as long as it is?
With this sort of temperatures, it's going to make the car a lot easier to get a bit too much wheel spin on restarts or on corner exits. So that's probably why we've seen drivers really start to have the big mistakes now. We didn't expect to have the caution and then have another caution, but just with driver fatigue and then these hotter temperatures all coming in together, not going to be making it easy. So you want a cooler track temperature normally, especially with road courses. It's able to get a lot more potential grip straight away instead of having to ease it in.
Yeah, kind of trying to find those sweet spot for these new Goodyear tires that they run on these next gens. Very difficult. We've seen some of the drivers out there, even in the chat here, saying it is slick out there on that track. So really, you've got to keep an eye out for that. I don't know if it's the car, if it's the tires, or if it's the track itself. I like to see the tires, staying warm. Boy, look at that. And Riley Hoots kind of dooring that 95 machine, seeing if he can kind of make him jump so he can have the favorable spot for this turn. But normally turn one is going to determine what happens here. Riley Hoots, big check up there, which ends up according the rest of the field. Look at that. as they get ready to stretch this thing out. Riley Hoots there in the 24. Gonna file in single file behind him. Looks like Edward Marshall sliding in back here to the 4th position, making his move up there. Trying to stay in front of Batby, who's made big moves there into the 4th position. So that 89 machine already churning there, kind of.
Yeah, not wanting to mess around, getting straight up into the 4th position nice and early. Now's the time. If you're going to make a lot of overtakes, now's the time to do it. It's when the field's all grouped up together, so you've got to spin further back.
Oh, yeah.
The 12.
The 78 of Villalobos has bent it. So that is going to be kind of sad for some of those people out there rooting for Villalobos in that 78 machine, as it looks like Christopher Miller also got it on that one as well. Battle up here, let's see, with Fetter Place. Looks like there's another tangle up there. Getting kind of smashed up. I don't know how many got tangled up in that one. It looks like Edward Marshall definitely having to march back on that one. So, yeah, Edward Marshall's broken as well. So a lot of issues going down on the track here right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be some trouble for these drivers, as Reed D. Nenas is trying to keep up into the trying to break into the top 10, but he's got a lot of work to do here with Robert Ballard Jr. there working on the outside of turn 1.
A lot of things just happened towards the end of that opening lap, but Edward Marshall had to take it back to pit road. A lot of other drivers got some form of damage, so a lot going on, but we were able to stay green. Batby already caught his way back up to 3rd position, and with Hoots on the back of Alfred right now, he might just want to stay back and either let them fight it out and then use that pace that he has in reserve to make a late run charge, since he will know he's got the pace. No need to really push. I say that he gets a massive slide on exit of turn 8, but able to keep it all under control. Riley Hoots gonna look to make a run into turn number 1. Sticking behind Mike Joda, no, gonna stay behind. Starting to want to keep behind and use the draft, maybe onto the back straight. Backing off, going into the S's to then just use the draft, going into the bus stop where then Nick Alford won't be able to fight back as easily.
Yeah, and you do see kind of that different race line that Riley Hoots is taking coming off of turn 1, using a lot more of that track, I guess, to gain some speed, which we notice Matthew Batby uses as well. The 24 and the 89 machine, very, very close teammates every week, and they do practice a lot together. But it's interesting to see that, this JKR Motorsports car is staying out front in front of these guys right now. The Kenny Powers Motorsports, the 2 behind him. But regardless, the top 5 cars, all Chevrolets, keeping this thing under green so far, which I'm curious to see with only about 21 laps to go here, Kynan. They're going to have their work cut out for them, as we can see Batby getting real loose right there. Riley Hoots you see the front end dragging through that turn, as Nick Alford is doing everything he can to stay in front of them at this point.
Nick Alford looking a lot more stable. Hoots getting multiple slides on, especially in the carousel. Looked like he just decided to downshift to then help rotate the car, but doing that you're going to entice a slide, but you've got to then keep control of the slide. So a lot of driving going on, but these drivers know what they're doing and doing an excellent job on not spinning out.
As we're taking a quick ride along here with Riley Hoots to try to see how he's going to be able to handle this one coming up to the bus stop. As we do see a small little pick there of that rear view mirror up there of Matthew Batby, his teammate kind of working behind him as well. But really, as a driver here, most you want to do is stare out that windshield. Last thing I want to be doing is looking at the guy behind me, as you see Riley Hoots getting real close to that 95 machine in front of him. Look at that, as that outside move. Let's see if he goes ahead and takes it. We're going to slide out there, and let's see if he takes it in this turn. Riley Hoots has been dragging through this turn on turn 8, and let's see if Nick Alford is going to try to switch him up here. Oh, man. As Batby, you see, getting loose. Riley Hoots right now has retained the lead, and looks like he's going to go ahead and take it away from Nick Alford, but Batby is going to go ahead and slice it up there. New race leader Riley Hoots right now, and about to see if Batby is going to go ahead and make a move here. Oh, man. As we got it, great driving up here in the top 3 here, kind of.
Or they're going to have to be careful as Nick Alford and Batby do make a small bit of contact but are able to keep it going in a straight line. That could have been very messy and very unnecessary, but luckily all drivers knowing how to keep control of their car were able to keep it going in a straight line, and that has now unleashed Batby to then go fight his teammate for the win.
Yeah, and this is, I'm sure that race chatter is heating up after that slight bump there. If you get a little bit out of sorts in those S-turns, it is just about suicide. You're going to bite the edge of that wall and kind of really send it where you don't want it to. But something to keep in mind here, kind of with the final laps here, I don't know if fuel is going to be an issue here at this track. If these guys are going to have to stop for fuel, and if they do, maybe a quick pit stop, maybe only left side tires like you were saying, and hopefully Nick Alford can get caught back up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, but Fifield has been able to slowly claw his way back up now, right on the back of Alford, so he's not going to want to be hanging around him too long. But how much is Hoots holding up his teammate? So maybe there might be a little bit of teamwork just to unleash Bad B so then he can pull away. And then Fifield with the fastest lap of 11.456, so he's definitely got more pace than Batby right now, but Batby looking to the inside of Hoots, gonna think better of it and just pull back in.
And also something to keep in mind, if you do want to kind of play a little bit of those point strategy game, that Matthew Batby has so far led the most laps in the race so far. If his teammate Riley Hoots here leads some laps, he is also gaining points as well, not just for the driver, but for the team as well, for these guys going ahead and leading some of those laps out front there. But I'm sure once it kind of comes down to the very end, probably the last 4 or 5 laps, I definitely expect to see Batby kind of feather that brake, stay away from it, and go ahead and add more fuel, as it looks like Nick Alford is going ahead and checking in. This is going to be a pit strategy game for Nick Alford, as he's going to go ahead, probably come down, throw some tires and fuel on this thing, and get his way back out. Let's rotate up here to Fifield, and let's see how well he's holding up. He's about 2.5 seconds off the back of Riley Hoots. But yeah, we do see Fifield holds on a lot better during these long runs, kind of.
Yeah, Fifield definitely has the pace to be able to fight his way up. Yes, he did get into the back of Batby on that restart where Batby just got really unsettled over the curb going into the S's, but both drivers been able to fight their way back up, currently running second and third. But with how Batby is being held up by Hoots, Fifield should be on the back of them real soon. But what's their fuel load right now? Are they going to need to make a pit stop? Right now it seems like we are, but who knows what they're going to do with tires.
And we'll have to see here in a little bit. Looks like Hoots and Batby may be running a little bit of lap traffic here in a lap or so up here on Villalobos there. Got unfortunately turned around at that bus stop. So he is got out of sorts, but hopefully he doesn't end up a lap down. The only car at this point that is a lap down is I believe Edward Marshall in the 16 machine. He is out there still chugging along, hoping, hoping for another caution of a multi-car pileup, get him back out there. That way, he doesn't end up kind of in the mix-up he had before. But let's see, let's see how Fetter Place. I know Fetter Place is running a real good line. He kind of got messed up there on the turn 1 as we see him working through the S's here, trying to keep up with Bledsoe there in the 42 machine. But really, it's just that 2-second gap is really hard to kind of catch up.
Ooh.
Man, but if you want to check anybody on the move, if you're looking at that ticker there on that left side, Fifield right now has got a rocket up the back end of that car. I don't know what he's got going on, but as soon as those tires hook up, he is munching off that time. 15 spots up from where he started this race here tonight. He's led some laps there as well, but right now he is running down the fastest drivers on the track right now. I mean, in bunches. He takes off about 2/10 of a second each turn. There we go, and there's another 2/10 there. Let's see how he does here in turn 1. As you can see, Riley Hoots slide through there, but he's going to pay for that, as Batby's now going to look toward the inside, and Riley Hoots is going to let him around. So a little change up here, as I believe. Oh, come on, Fifield. Stay in there, bud. as he's having a little bit of internet connection issues, but that 45 is definitely keeping him moved. And I would assume here, Kynan, a little team strategy is to let Riley Hoots jam Fifield and let Batby run away.
Yeah, Batby was held up by Hoots for a long time, so maybe Hoots just might repay the favor by holding up Fifield, but Fifield is going to need to get past Hoots very soon if he wants to have any shot at really fighting with Batby.
Yep, 15 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. We appreciate you joining us here at the High Octane Sim Series. We are taking a look at our 1, 2, 3 positions up front here during this race. Matthew Batby leading the race. Riley Hoots in second. His teammate is jamming Fifield here, Jacob Fifield. 3 Chevrolets, 1, 2, 3, but Fifield going to go ahead and take tires. Very interesting call here. I would assume as fast as Fifield was running there, man, this may be a fuel and go.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on just see if he does decide to take tires. My bird is going absolutely ballistic right now, probably from all the excitement that we've had this race. But so far, I haven't seen the car go up on jack, so it looks to be just a fuel stop.
All right, and we will definitely keep an eye out for those guys as we see Matthew Batby starting to run into some lap traffic. So let's see how he handles this. Edward Marshall, he's around. Let's see who else he has. As it looks like Villalobos is still trying his best to stay out in front and stay on that lead lap there. But man, Batby's just got that line, and he's got a lot of speed here. So we'll see if he can stay out front. I believe the next car would be Christopher Miller if Batby can pass these guys. But really, if you're Fifield, the longer he's behind these lapped cars, the better it is working out for you. Jake, oh man, Villalobos off track there, so there goes another position. That puts Villalobos down 1 lap now, so he's got a lot of moving here to get going, and it's really interesting to see how well these guys drive. Green Tint Gaming, some real nice racing, great improvement from Texas. I completely agree with you there, and you kind of gets you a little curious that if these guys are wheeling these cars around like they are, then what happened at Texas? What happened at LA Coliseum? What happened when they got to New Hampshire? And it really confuses you and kind of makes you scratch your head of, if you guys can wheel like this, why when we're on a circle track does silly things happen? But regardless, Matthew Batby out in front has now already put over just about a second and a half on Riley Hoots there. Next person is 14 seconds behind that of Brandon. And I think the High Octane Sim Series had to make a correction on that part. But regardless, looks like Matthew Batby has gone ahead and pit. So we know these two. I'm sure Hoots is right behind him as well. And those two gentlemen are going to go ahead and bring it in the pit. So I want to actually keep an eye on Batby here. And I've got to know how this pit stop goes for these two, because this is going to be the change of the race.
All that's going to hand the lead over to Fifield. Fifield not taking any tires. He's going to then also have that track position. Fifield going in and hitting the apex for turn 1 as Batby is now leaving pit lane.
Holy cow. So enough fuel, but look at just in time. So keep this in mind, Kynan, is Batby did take tires if Fifield took none. Batby is now only half a second behind that car. And if he's only half a second behind that car, are those left side tires that he took going to pay off?
Well, if he had taken 4 tires, he would have then lost another 7 seconds for... Oh, that's bad.
Oh, and the 89 machine looks like he's sliding. Oh, that may be doing it. Okay.
And that's the half shaft broken.
Yep, broke. He is done. So Batby is out of the running. So the only person that really has a chase at this point is Riley Hoots. I know we show up there. Fetter Place is in the lead at this point, but we know he has to come down pit road at some point for fuel. The last time he pit was lap 35. So he's going to have to come down for fuel. I don't blame him for coming out here and leading some laps after the early spin out he had, I believe, there in early beginning of stage 3. But right now, Fifield looking like he's got this thing in the bag.
Yeah, Hoots on final turn that last time got very loose, nearly put it in the wall, so that car is not driving how he wants it to, so real unfortunate for the 24 and the 89, but great work to Fifield. He just needs to then keep this going for these last 11 laps, and then it will be a victory from after deciding to take an EOL at the start of the race.
Yeah, as long as there's not a caution, like I said, I think Fifield may have this one really sealed up here. It looks like Garrett out there. I don't want to butcher your last name, but Garrett is out there saying, "Yes, Jacob, it's over." So he's calling it this at this point. Green Tint Gaming, 10 out of 10. So they are loving what they are seeing here tonight, and really Fifield wheeling this car around. And you wouldn't think from how he started in this race and where he started that he would pick up 16 positions, probably 17 as soon as he passes Fetter Place here, who looks like Fetter Place may be in, nope, not in pit yet, still hanging out there, is really going to kind of, pick this one apart. As Fifield, his biggest strategy right now is going to be staying in front of that 24 machine of Riley Hoots here, and I just don't know if Riley's got enough smoke for him here in the final stages of this race.
Unfortunately, it does not seem like it unless Fifield makes a mistake, but with how loose Hoots has been getting all race, he's been slipping and sliding, which is not good for tires and for speed, so it may look good on camera, but it's not looking good for the timing screen, so it's unfortunate. Hoots just needs to keep it together, hope that Fifield maybe has a error or is able to just hold on to second position, because Nick Alford is coming and wanting to take that position away. So right now, Hoots might just be better off just taking it down a notch, stop sliding the car so much, and just pick up the extra couple points.
Yeah, as it looks like Hoots is now off by over 5 seconds off of Fifield's rear bumper there. Fetter Place still leading this race, getting around here, but man, I just don't know. How long can Fetter Place hold on? He pit at lap 35, so he's still got a ways to go. 9 to go here at Watkins Glen. Man, we really appreciate you joining us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, sponsored by Admin Box. But right now we are watching Fetter Place in the 20 machine really pulling around this track, and seems to have this thing hooked up pretty well. I don't know if fuel will be an issue for him. I'm assuming it will, and he will not be able to stretch this thing toward the end. Man, but really kind of really seeing that Toyota make it around this track. I'm waiting to see if he decides, nope, another lap, he's going to stay out. So Brandon Fetter Place still leading this lap with 8 to go.
I've done the same strategy in past races where I took track position and then just stayed out, picking up those extra couple points for laps led, and even though they weren't needed, it could come in handy towards the end of the season. So just picking up the extra points when you can now, and then maybe a caution will come out, even though it's very, very unlikely just because of how strung out the field is starting to become. But still, picking up those extra couple points and just being able to lead some laps, it does help your mental state compared to running in the back and just really not picking up as much. So even though it might be screwing over some sort of strategy, it's still going to be picking up extra points that then makes up for it.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Fifield is picking up a lot of time here on Fetter Place, only about 11 seconds behind. Still chopping off a few seconds here and there. Still a long way to go, but it's trying to cut down this lead here. Let's see. It looks like Fetter Place turned to 113, 267, and that last lap by Fifield was a 111.5. So he right now is on a tear and is, just absolutely gobbling up that time. And Fetter Place has got, maybe that's what you're thinking is, it may be just trying to saw off some of this, get that points lead out front, and you kind of see it coming to an end here. But if Fetter Place may go ahead and have me insert my foot into my mouth if he is able to actually make it to the end, and Fifield is the one really having to kind of chase him down here.
It's entirely possible that, depending on when Fetter Place started to feel safe, all that was very, very close.
Boy, and the race chatter is going to be lighting up about that one. I'm sure Fifield's not happy about Edward Marshall kind of getting into him there. Looks like Edward Marshall took a bite out of that turn right there and almost clipped the wall. So Fifield up here is really kind of dealing with lap traffic the same way Fetter Place was, and that has now cost him, man, about another second there. So really, I hope that isn't what it boils down to in the end, as we are coming up with only 6 to go. Once we reach that line, Fetter Place in the 20 machine. Looks like Ballard Jr. just kind of slid and bit the wall before turn 9 there, kind of, and you're starting to notice these guys are loosening up here. How long can they hold on?
Really, it's just when you start to notice that the car is starting to loosen up, then you need to start to give it a little bit more room to be able to make the corrections if needed. One thing that I had to learn myself and still learning is just identifying when the car is now starting to become a bit more undrivable and then just backing it up a little bit. So some drivers are going to be able to identify that earlier than others, so just having that ability to will go a long way. But going back to what I was saying earlier, depending on when Fetter Place decides to start fuel saving, might depict if he can save enough to get to the end. He last pitted on lap 35 compared to everyone who made their green flag pit stops from 45 or 43 for extreme cases down to lap 48. So pitted 13 laps earlier than everyone, but if he's able to save the fuel, it is possible. Just how much time is he losing if he is?
Yeah, an interesting something to keep an eye out for. Bill Lobos has actually worked his way back up into the 10th position here and trying to put a lot of work there on the back bumper of Alan Bledsoe. A lot of Chevys out here. It looks like even all the way, looks like Christopher Miller is the only Ford that's behind him. But Bill Lobos, boy, him and Christopher Miller have been going at it all night. So those two connect, and now Bill Lobos has gotten around. But, man, just when you think he was looking at the 42 machine, he's still battling with the 12 behind him. So Bill Lobos really kind of getting the crummy end here. You know, what this is going to turn out to be. I'm curious to see the 51 machine of Kelly Thomas up here, who's been battling up here with, I believe, Matthew Wilson there in the 48 machine. So these two have been going back and forth. They're kind of doing a give and take position. You know, Kelly Thomas getting a lot of speed here, getting through one, but it seems through the bus stop and the carousel is when that 48 machine starts to pick up speed.
Better Place coming in this time. He's now in pit lane, so he's going to have to relinquish the lead, which is going to promote Fifield up into the lead of the race.
And there he goes. So our new race leader, Jacob Fifield in the 45 Chevrolet, going ahead and taking it away. He has 4 laps to go. Fetter Place went as far as he could. So as we see our ticker update there, we see about 6.5 seconds and more Riley Hoots has to make up to catch up. So really, Fifield, as long as he can keep this thing straight and on the narrow line, he has this win here at Watkins Glen, and we will be happy to talk to him. But what I've got to see is who comes in third. Is Alfred going to go ahead and keep this thing in the 95 machine, or is Fetter Place going to catch up? Unknown at this point. Did you see if Fetter Place went ahead and took any tires, or was this a fuel and go?
It does seem like right now my time isn't really suggesting, so you're going to have to get back to you on that in half a lap when Fetter Place crosses the line. But
okay,
right now seems to be able to carry more speed than Alfred, so definitely going to be interesting to see if he's able to close the gap to Alfred for third place. But is there enough time? That's the real question.
yeah, it's going to be definitely a hard push. Fifield still running, I mean, some super fast laps. And I would probably say, you know, aside from Batby, Batby had a good run here tonight. He ran a lot of quick laps, but consistently right now, Fifield is I mean, for lack of better terms, he is stupid fast here tonight. He is running a 111.7 his last lap. So he is only half a second off of his fastest lap here tonight. I mean, you see him getting airborne right there, getting into the bus stop, lining up for the carousel here. And I mean, just absolute rocket he is riding on right now. And I'm actually, we're going to kind of tune down a little bit. I'm going to stop talking. Well, let's take a ride along with Fifield when we get up to the line out of turn 9 here. But really, Fifield doing a fantastic job staying out in front of Riley Hoots by about a 9-second gap now. Alfred there 23 seconds behind Fifield, but he retains the 3rd position. So, Kynan, let's take a ride here along with Jacob Fifield. Alrighty, and there we go. One fast lap from Jacob Fifield there as we took a ride along with him. That was a 1:11.7 second lap. So he is still the fastest one on the track at this point, and that was a quick ride along with him. So I'm sure a lot of guys have a lot of great things to say about him right now, being able to bring this down with the last lap. I believe we have one to go here. So here he is on the final lap, and really he has sealed the deal on this race here. Fetter place about 2 seconds behind Alfred there. I just don't know if that 20 machine is going to be able to catch him. We'll have to kind of, think to ourselves, did Matthew Batby and Hoots taking only those left side tires, may that have cost them the race, or was it the spin out? Did the spin out, was it caused by the tires? We won't know, but it was definitely a decision that was made, and you made your bed and you got to lay in it here, kind of.
Yeah, it was real unfortunate that it happened. And to go back to Fetter place, he took no tires on that last stop, so gonna be able to probably not make advantage of it. But Fifield, after taking an EOL at the start of the race, is going to come home and take the victory.
Yes, your biggest mover of the race, 17 positions up from where he started. Riley Hoots going ahead and coming in second here as he makes his way across the line. Let's see if Alfred can go ahead and stick the run here and go ahead and place there. 3rd place for him. Fetter place respectably in 4th. And way back there in the 54 machine to round out our top 5 is Messer here. So we see how this road course and why some of these stages do work out for him is you just see the gap that they have here. Reedy Ninas there in the 6th position. I'm about to see if Villalobos survived or if he crashed out. It's showing to me like he did not make it to the end, so we'll have to see if he is okay, if he had a little bit of a connection issue on that one, and see what kind of becomes of that. Thomas goes ahead and passes there. Yeah, it looks like Villalobos may have exited out a little too early as we see him marching down the track here. And some of these guys have gone ahead and exited out, unfortunately. But if look at the 32 machine, which is really funny about certain situations like this, is that 32 machine is able to get back out there and get this thing squared away. I don't know, Kynan, if you actually roll back there, if that 32 machine got in a little bit of a tangle up. We did see when Fifield came around one of those turns, we had a bunch of cars off turn 1 there, so I don't know if something happened and it collected a lot of those cars. But, I mean, you see up there on our ticker, ladies and gentlemen, Fifield has taken away the win here tonight, and really, it was a beautiful race. It was conducted by him tonight and was able to collect the win. I'm glad to see him up here and, out here and really frying the tires off that car.
Yeah, he definitely deserved it. Being so far back at the start of the race and to just make his way up, was able to keep it consistent, keep it clean, but also keep it fast all at the same time. Didn't need to really risk it and ended up coming through and taking the win.
Yeah, quite the battle there for him. As I am looking for Nick Alford. Where are you, buddy? I know you're out there somewhere. There you are. As yeah, Nick Alford having the time of his life out here tonight. He did make a good turn up and good show out here for tonight, but he was not able to maintain that lead forever as he tried his darndest to stay up there, but unfortunately was just unable to keep it under control for him tonight. But we are going to go ahead and let's go ahead. Say ahead one more time. I'm going to get slapped around. Let's go ahead and get Nick Alford up in the booth here tonight. Nick, you got a copy on us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh man, dude. All right. So one of the JKR Motorsports vehicles was able to place a podium position tonight. Unfortunately, Jeremy Richmond, I think just his car just loosened up on him. He wasn't able to collect that thing here tonight. Is this kind of where you thought you were going to be, kind of a podium position, or do you think you had Batby kind of behind you all race?
So I knew Bappy was faster than me. He's been faster than me all week. We've been practicing together. So I definitely figured that he would be ahead of me. I wasn't expecting him to take himself out like that. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for P3. We needed it.
Yeah, and it really a definite turnaround from what happened there at Texas, but it's still a good showing here tonight. Was there anything out there unusual, especially with the next gen cars and here at Watkins Glen? Was there something out of the ordinary that you guys normally see between, aside from Cup cars and Xfinities?
No, I don't think so. The next gens feel great. Like it was a blast to drive. Tire wear wasn't really an issue. You could go a whole stage and your tires are only at 97, 98%. So you could definitely double stack stages on one set of tires.
Okay, well, we noticed out there in the chat, and some of the drivers out there were saying the track was getting pretty slick out there. Did you run into any of that issue out there?
Yeah, if you did take tires, like cold tires is always slick. As the race went on though, obviously it's going to get slimy and slippery a little bit, so got to be mindful for that.
Okay, yeah, really. Well, that's what we kind of saw. We saw that Riley Hoots and Matthew Batby were getting behind you as you were leading the race. Were you staring out the windshield, or were you a little nervous about what was going on in the rear view? Kind of what got you mixed up and kind of slicing back during those turns.
So I knew they were faster than me, and I knew I was going to short pit them, so I went ahead and let them go. It was just a matter of time of what lap I was going to pit on. I wanted to make sure I had enough for the finish, and I had 1.25 laps left.
Oh man.
On fuel.
Okay, so without all that fuel, you don't have all that, really swaying on you, especially going through the S turns here and that bus stop that is, kind of catches up on a lot of these drivers. But you were still able to get a third position, which I'm really proud to see that JKR Motorsports was able to go ahead and get a car up into the podium position tonight and add some points for your team. But we will let you go ahead and get back to it here, Nick, as you have to get lined up for Homestead next week. Go ahead and give us some of the shout-outs there, bud.
Absolutely. Shout out to JKRM, Max Graphics, W Energy, Captain Jacks, all the sponsors for the league, you guys for sponsoring the league. Yeah.
Alrighty, Nick, and we will let you get back to it. Great job tonight, and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there, kind of Nick Alford. There he is. I will line you up with Riley Hoots here in that 24 machine, as he really had this one under control for the most part, but we did see him sliding through a lot of those turns there. And Kynan, I believe you got Riley Hoots right here on the line there, bud.
Riley Hoots, do you hear us over in the booth right now?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, that was certainly something. Walk us through what you saw from your perspective.
Honestly, I would not have expected to finish on the podium earlier this week with the lap times my teammates were running. But I figured it out as the race went on, and I definitely had a rocket ship by the end of this thing, but definitely were able to get a fortunate outcome from some others' misfortunes, so that helped us out points wise. But wow, that was crazy. I did not expect the 89 to make a mistake like that.
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say from me and Patrick that we didn't expect it either, but we noticed that you were sliding around a lot all race. Was it just a case of overdriving the car, or just the tires, as soon as they got overheated, they just stayed overheated?
Definitely, when the tires got overheated, it would take a couple of corners to cool it down. But that was just trying to find the limit. You know, like I said, my times were a little bit slower than my teammates all week, and I actually didn't break through into the 111 time bracket until in that last stage there. But it was just all finding the limits of the car and trying to make it to the end.
Well, with finding the limits, was there really a certain corner that was causing more issues than the rest?
The carousel turn was my weakness all week, throughout practice and through the race. Just a matter of being patient and waiting to get on the gas. Because if you got on the gas too early, it compromised your exit. And I was all race losing half a second to the guy in front of me just because I was getting impatient in that corner. But otherwise, it was a fun little racetrack.
Well, it wasn't originally meant to be Watkins Glen on the schedule. It was originally meant to be the Roval. Would you have preferred the Roval compared to Watkins Glen?
So I actually ran laps at the Roval in this car as well. And I thought it was pretty fun, but man, Watkins Glen is an insane road course. The way you can just throw the car into all the corners, I absolutely enjoyed this a lot more.
Well, with that, who do you really have to thank for getting you out there and bringing home the second place finish tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I'm happy to get Target in victory lane, or not in victory lane, sorry, on the podium. Maybe next week. But yeah, happy to get on the podium with them in this awesome new paint scheme that James Brossiker turned out for me. It looks great. And then, of course, all my family that's watching, as usual. Awesome support group. My girlfriend, who supports me through this every week as well. I'm blessed to be surrounded by so many supporting people.
All right, Riley, and we appreciate you showing up here at Watkins Glen. Before I let you go, I do have one question. You guys took left side tires before you came out. Did that end up being a problem later on? It maybe causing Batby's demise, or did it work out for you at all?
Oh yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up because I thought it was really interesting. The tire wear was pretty much even on the rights and lefts there on the last stop, and we both decided together to take left sides, sort of predicting that would be the more helpful advantage there. But I actually was wishing I had taken no tires. It turned out that the uneven wear on both sides really upset the balance of my car there, and I really wasn't able to do anything with Jacob after that. But yeah, just a good strategy call by him.
But we have Homestead next week, so go ahead, get rested up, and we will see you next week there, bud.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Man, there you go. And there's Riley Hoots, in that 24 machine, able to get ahead and put it in the second place. And I'm going to give a shout out. Shane Hoots, I did not see you out there in the chat, so I got my eyeballs out for you next week. And you better say something to me because all these bots out here are making me sick. All right, so with that being said, somebody we don't talk to a bunch here, Kynan, is Jacob Fifield in that 45 machine. Jacob Fifield is here in the race booth with us, and I've got to know everything that went on with his car. Jacob, you got a copy on us here, bud?
Yeah, got a copy.
Man, we took a ride along with you with about one to go there. Actually, second lap before the white flag flew, and your times were so consistent. You ran a 111.7 in the lap we took with you. You didn't qualify. You picked up 17 positions and took the win here tonight. Really, what was the winning strategy? What, not taking tires, getting this thing up in the front? I mean, walk me through the mindset of getting this thing in victory lane here tonight.
Definitely not taking tires because that was big. Track position was big. I knew Bappy was gonna be tough, so just getting ahead of him at that restart was huge, and it just worked in my favor at the end.
Man, that 45 Chevrolet, I said it multiple times during the race. That thing, it was like you were riding on a rocket at some points. You hooked up. I think I saw you get loose maybe twice, but that just a little extra, braking power that you had, I believe, going into one on one of them. And the carousel, I think you got a little loose on another turn. But really, that car was hooked up something fierce here tonight. And not taking tires. I mean, did you take tires at all, I'm assuming, during the stage breaks?
I took tires during stage 1, but I took no tires in stage 2.
Really? Wow. Okay, so so the last time you took tires was lap 16?
Yes.
Wow. All right, Kynan. Well, that goes to show you that almost tires didn't matter at this point. He really... Man, I'm at a loss for words. That really surprises me, not taking tires at the end of stage 2 to line up for the final sprint there toward the end. I mean, what was the hardest part of this track to you?
Definitely probably 6 and 7. I don't know why, but I just couldn't get the car turned, and I just lost a lot of time there.
Okay, and for our viewers out there, 6 and 7, are you talking about the carousel turn there?
Nope, the last 2 turns.
Okay, the last 2. Okay, so where it kind of gets that good little wedge. I know some people count it, some people don't. That bus stop area where you got to make the right left and then the left right again, to get squared through there. But really getting around this track here tonight, you really you had this thing on a rail, man. And I'm really surprised to see what you were able to put down here tonight. I mean, we don't talk to you a bunch up here in the booth here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Is this a road course is normally your thing?
Not really, but it's my home track, so I had to put on a show.
Ah, okay. So even when you were a kid, man, you were racing around this thing, so you know the turns like the back of your hand.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, next week we're looking at the Homestead, Miami is where we are going to be. To me, it's a very flat track. I despise the track. How are you feeling about it?
I like it, honestly. Last year in the championship race, I had a good battle with Bappy at the end, but the next gens are definitely going to be a challenge, and I'm ready for it.
Yes, you did, and you did have quite the battle on your hands during that race. I tuned in for the last little bit of it. I believe Tim Hammond and Will Tiller were with you at that point, but man, really... a fantastic move by you here tonight. I'm sure this is going to help you out in that points charge going forward. But man, really, we're going to let you wrap this up. Get on your way and toward practicing for the next track. Give me some of those shout outs you got for me, bud.
Shout out to Glitch Energy. Thank you for sponsoring me, all that stuff. Shout out to Garrett Maines for helping me with this track and teaching me how to do it. And yeah, can't wait for Homestead.
Oh, yeah. Garrett Maines has been in the chat, blowing up my chat almost as much as these bots I wish I could get rid of. And he has said he's a proud coach of what you were able to do here tonight. He called it, I believe, all the way back from the lap 20s that you will be up in the front, really running down Fetter Place there. But Jacob Fifield, fantastic job in that 45 Chevrolet, and we will see you next week, bud.
Thank you.
Kynan, that guy was on a roll here tonight. An absolute roll.
Yeah, had the consistency, pace, and just the patience to know when to just save the time, not push and get into a wreck, and then also had the pit strategy to not take tires, gain the time there, and ultimately it worked out perfectly for them. So good work to them, especially with taking the EOL and making their life a lot harder from the start.
Yeah, and really, it was just, and so many switch-ups there as we see some of those drivers, unable to control, some that were in control, some were fast, some just not as fast as the others, and Fifield, I mean, just starting from so far back, I think that would be what grasps my attention the most, is how far he started back, and where he came from, and how he got to that point, being able to secure this thing, put it in the bag, and really, to me, like I said, seal the deal. He got out there from Garrett Maines being able to do that. We got a couple other drivers, I think Mattern out there is trying to give him a little peek, saying, hey, man, I could use a little help. And I'm sure if somebody can train you like this, absolutely, I would want the help as well. But all of us at 10-4 Broadcasting, sponsored by Admin Box, we appreciate you showing up here at the High Octane Sim Series at Watkins Glen in New York. Once again, we are looking at next Friday. We will be at Homestead. Another fantastic race, I'm sure, that night as well. We'll have over 170 laps there, 173 to be exact. So that is going to be a brawl. Massive tire wear on the right front of that one. Most likely you will be joining myself, Patrick Morrison, Kynan Jones, and we will see you next week.